Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh Jeffries video. In this video, we'll be taking a look at this Galaxy S22 Ultra I purchased from AliExpress. Costing only $123 for the 256GB model with 8GB of RAM, this is of course not a real Samsung phone. But could this clone give big brands a run for their money? Or is there something else going on with this device? It's advertised with having 16 megapixel cameras, a 6800 mAh battery, and a 10-core MediaTek 6889 processor, greatly reducing the probability of stagnation, crash, and so on, so that you can snatch red packets faster. If you think that's impressive, around back you'll find not one, not two cameras, but 32 million high-definition rear cameras, all of which are equipped with an AdBot dual-core sensor and introduce AI artificial intelligence. Along with the Rubik's Cube technology, this is the true professional imaging team. But it just keeps getting better, with a screen fingerprint unlockable under the screen which contains advanced technology. That's something we're definitely going to have to check out. All this with a 4.7 star rating. This must be something really special. So I ordered one to see for myself. After all, I've always wanted a phone with Rubik's Cube technology. Inside is a plain black box labelled S22 Ultra and 256GB. On the back is a few generic features along with various regulation logos. There's a 99% chance this hasn't been approved for use by the regulation bodies listed. But let's open the box and see what's inside. Here we have the S22 Ultra and the included comical S Pen, which is nothing like the original and isn't designed to be stored inside the phone. Included alongside the phone and stylus is a clear case and spare screen protector, as well as a knockoff Samsung charger that weighs next to nothing and will likely burn your house down. Additionally, you'll find a USB-C cable, headphones, a SIM adapter that provides no use, and finally, a manual. Before we take a closer look at the phone, I'll remove all the plastic protective film that's been applied. It's fair to say this phone comes with more accessories than most flagships, and it even includes a headphone jack. But is it all too good to be true? I mean, where's the 32 million cameras I was promised? I can only hope that was just some poor translation. But we'll have to see just what's inside this phone so I can validate some of their claims. However, there are some things I can validate in the software first to see if I got what was advertised. In the About Phone section, you can see the model is displayed as a Samsung S22 Ultra with 8GB of RAM, 256GB of storage, a 10-core Snapdragon processor, and Android 11. The processor being displayed is totally different than the listing, but it's still a high-end chip. Or is it? Having experienced Chinese phones with fake specs, I don't trust what I see. I purchased an iPhone 13 Pro clone recently, and just about every spec listed was fake, from the CPU to amount of RAM and even the Android version. But what I didn't find in that video was the hidden app that's used to fake these specs, or the real company behind these phones. But that's about to change with this S22. Before I show you their secret, I want to demonstrate the fingerprint reader and its so-called advanced technology. I'll set up a fingerprint by placing my finger on the designated area, allowing the phone to scan it. Once complete, we can try it out. Sure enough, the phone unlocks on the first try. But if you were paying attention, you'd notice the fingerprint scanning area on the lock screen is in a different location to when I programmed in my fingerprint. That's because this phone doesn't actually have a fingerprint reader under the display, and that means you can unlock the phone using any finger, or even your knuckle, because it never actually scanned anything when we added the fingerprint. The unlock is entirely dependent on you touching the logo for a second, which bypasses the password and unlocks the phone. It also has a face unlock method that is software based, so would likely be better than the fake fingerprint, but I wouldn't be trusting it. Given this phone's current track record with security, I was skeptical of the installed apps like Facebook, Netflix, and TikTok. Are they legitimate versions or have they been modified in some way? I did find a strange message in settings for TikTok saying that it would not infringe on the interests of users. Please open with confidence. I thought that sounded really odd, but after confirming with a friend who also had the app installed on his real Galaxy S22 Ultra, it seemed this was a real message from TikTok. As for the legitimacy of the apps, I tried updating them using an APK file. While this worked for Netflix, it failed for TikTok. I don't know if this is because it's modified or something else went wrong, as it didn't tell me why it failed. Either way, I wouldn't be signing into anything on this device. But the Sketchy software doesn't stop there. The browser app, which is disguised behind a Google Chrome logo, requests permission to take pictures and video, access location, record audio, access your files, and contacts. Declining crashes the app. Why would any legitimate web browser need access to your contacts or camera? In Quick Shortcut Maker, I could gain access to every app's activities. I want to have a look and try and find that secret app I was informed about after posting my fake iPhone 13 video. It didn't take long before I found an app by King Time, Device Info. Opening it, we get a look at the real device's specifications. To no surprise, it's nothing what was advertised. The processor is actually a MediaTek MT6580, a 2016 bare-bones CPU with only 3G networking. A far cry from the blazing fast 5G I was supposed to have. It's also running Android 8.1 with a 480p display, 1GB of RAM, and 8GB of storage. Continuing my search, I also found a device test mode from MediaTek, the company who made the CPU that's inside this phone. The app isn't of any interest as it's just a factory test mode. I found another test mode, this one from King Time, the same name who created the first app we opened with the device specs. It basically performs the same tasks as the factory test mode from MediaTek. The last app of interest was Switch App from KST. This is what we've been looking for. The app would usually be launched via the phone app using a special code, however I don't know what that code is, but using my backdoor method has worked just as well. This is the application used by these scammers to falsify the device specifications, to make it appear as they please. The truth is, if you paid more for storage, all they had to do was change one of these settings and the phone will reflect the change. Obviously, this doesn't change the real hardware of the phone, meaning no matter what you select, you'll only have 8GB of storage. There is even an option to change the model, so I can crank this S22 Ultra all the way up to an S40 Ultra. Sorry Samsung, but I'm 18 years ahead over here with my S40 Ultra. I can even overclock those 32 million rear cameras to 6400 watts, a spec that makes no sense whatsoever as this isn't a measurement used by cameras. But once I've made my changes, I can go back into settings where my adjustments are reflected. Just like that, I've upgraded to 32GB of RAM, 1TB of storage, and Android 12, all without even turning off the phone. In the storage section, you can see it's lost when it comes to used storage. I'm apparently using 4 times the actual storage of the phone just for the OS. Obviously, this is one heavily modified version of Android, with more backdoors than I think even the FBI put into their Anom phone that was designed to catch criminals. I did also want to attempt to decompile the app and modify some of the values so I could have some really stupid specs, like 6G networking. But what I did find was unused or hidden values, like writing an IMEI number. And this got me to look up my IMEI number of this very phone, and it comes back as a real Galaxy S22 Ultra. That means they've likely stolen a real S22 IMEI number and just written it to this phone. I did find some other code files suggesting Welcome isn't the only brand name they use, but nothing else too interesting. I made my modification and rebuilt the app for installation. It failed as the signatures don't match. To fix this, you'd need to uninstall the current app, however, as it's a system application, I wasn't able to, meaning I can't install my modified version. I really wanted to know who is the real company behind these phones, because the Welcome brand is just an alias. The factory test app was created by someone called King Time, so that's where I started. A web search later, and I believe I found the real company, KST Microhand. I assume KST is King Time abbreviated. With KST also being the same name found on the fake specification switcher, I was pretty confident. Looking at their product page confirms my speculation. All these phones look to be clones of big name brands like Samsung, Apple, LG, and HTC. Interestingly, they do actually state the real specs on the product listings. I also found a diagram entitled Way of Thinking and Design, with an infinite loop suggesting the creation of a product and it breaking. Sounds about right. I think it's actually time we take a look inside. After the back of the phone has been heated, I can begin prying it open. To my surprise, the back is actually glass. Despite that, I'm yet to find the 32 million advertised cameras, but we did get 4, so I suppose that's quite good. After the back has been loosened, it can be removed from the phone, revealing the insides of this clone. I'll need to unfasten all of the Phillips head screws, securing the mid-frame onto the display. After the SIM tray is removed, I can pry off the mid-frame. I shouldn't be surprised, but it's made of cheap plastic, not metal as advertised in the product listing. I mean, what else could they possibly lie about at this point? Oh, the cameras. It turns out 3 of them are fake. So we've gone from 32 million to just 1. This is a very common practice in Chinese phones, and not just the clones either. But now that we have the mid-frame off, we finally get a proper look at the internals of this phone. It looks very similar to the iPhone 13 clone I looked at recently. The battery has no markings indicating capacity, but it's estimated about 2,200 mAh, just 32% of the advertised capacity. While the charging port can be replaced, many other components are soldered in place, such as the battery, vibration motor, speaker, microphone, LED flash, and earpiece. Not a very repairable phone, let alone much of a phone at all. While we've uncovered the true specifications, it's also listed on that orange sticker that's taped onto the motherboard. With not much more to see internally, it's time I get this phone reassembled. Once I've installed all the Phillips head screws, I can attach the back. Oh wait, I forgot to put in the fake cameras. Once those are attached, the back panel can be reinstalled. And we're done. So this is it, the most pathetic phone of all time. Powered by shady business practices and equipped with deceitful hardware, this is the latest in manufactured e-waste. As requested in my previous video, I sent all the evidence to the seller, including a link to the video, which he couldn't even access due to censorship. Despite this, I provided every bit of evidence, but he stood his ground, saying I was the person in the wrong. Honestly, it was like talking to a brick wall. But now I'll proceed in getting a refund, as no scammer deserves my money. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the scam busting playlist for more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my online store, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.